Evening. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well as well, and lovely to see you all here. I hope that that everything is working, and as always, we need to set up our chat as well. So let's see if we can make that work. We go in here because I have learned how to do this, so it should be fine. No, not the OpenAI chat app. Maybe in the future I will cut this section out, and then would be a little bit easier if you want to rewatch it in hindsight. Let's see. I guess we need to refresh this one or a few times. Looks like it doesn't want to work, so I am curious if everything is working as planned. It doesn't work right now. It is what it is. So it's fine. A little bit on the water. So last week we have looked into creating awesome animations. And I was quite happy to understand how it works, and that we could use some AI to help us out with a little bit of JavaScript code. If you want to see that, then you can watch it right there. There will be a card after the stream or a link in the description down below. And today I want to see if we can upgrade the animation. Because we have a nice basic animation, but not everybody likes to use animations or see animations. So can we gradually or progressively try to enhance the things that we have to see if everything is can be better for those who want to have animations and disable them if you don't want animations. Let's also look at an example of what Annemieke has shared a few weeks back. Because she was very happy with the animations and things happening there. It wasn't too overdone. So maybe we can learn something from those animations to see how they do things. So let's get right in. So this was the animation page. This was the page that Annemieke showed. And it's a page from GitHub. Let's see, I don't know if everything's working, so I need to check at least YouTube, because that's one of the most important things that I stream for a long time already. And I see that something happened to my live stream. It didn't get the right live stream, but it's okay. I hope I hope that people go to my thing and see that it's a different live stream today. But oh man, oh boy, how does this work even better? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like that everything is working, so that's fine. Let's get back right in. Damn it, Restream, you made my life miserable. No, you didn't, but it wasn't as expected. Anyways, let's continue and let's see how this goes. Maybe we can change things up. I should share it in things. What's up, Bogdan? How are you doing this fine evening? Nice of you to join. But anyways, let's get back to the matter at hand. Because, oh, it is the right one. Why is it so weird? It's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get why it works and then doesn't, and then it looks like it works. It's what you get when you are cheap on that sort of stuff, right? And why is something showing up right here? This shouldn't be shown. And let's go back and share my screen again. If thing goes wrong, they always go wrong in multiple times, right? Not just once. Let's see. And we can move it over here and then select this one. And it's not selectable. Because we see our YouTube player, which isn't too bad because I want to play music as well during this live stream, but usually it's hidden behind the big screen, and somehow it found its way to the top. So now we're going through all of them. There we are. Mike. And there we are again. It's sometimes what happens, right? You try to change things up and then things can go messy. Let's see. Let's move that one down. There it is. Now it's hidden. Yippee. All right. Let's get back to the matter at hand. So this was shown by Annemieke. If you don't know her, I've been waiting for you here. I guess something went wrong. It streamed to a different place and then it got back to the right place. So I guess we have 2 separate streams now or something. Let's see what happens after the stream, because yeah, it's sometimes what happens. If you don't know Annemieke, it's this woman right here, and she is an accessibility coach. She can help out with accessibility, and she has a lot of nice articles that you can find in the link in the description below as well about all the things that she does. But also, and that's something that we are going to look into today, for accessibility for animations. So let's see, let's go to my channel, because I don't have it ready, of course. I have somewhere in my, let's go. There we go. Yeah, you see, this is the wrong live stream, so I don't know what happened. So it is the wrong one. I really don't understand how this happened, because this one is the one that we should be running right now. Let's see. Here we have those kinds of things, but yeah, I will do that afterwards. I hope that doesn't mean for the other platforms that it doesn't work. So I need to find out if this is a issue somewhere else, because if people are waiting on other platforms, they cannot see me, because the wrong things is hi. Hi Jimmy, yes, I'm doing great. Let's see. Yeah, you see, the different stream has been. All right, this is what it is. It's what it is. Different stream has been started. Nice. All right, but back to the matter at hand. I'm sorry for me being so distracted. In this article that I can share in the chat and share later on as well, she goes over the accessibility that you can do with animations. I will share them, put them in right now. And this one as well. This one specifically for GSAP. It's not the thing that we are going to look into right now, but we can share it and perhaps look into it later. She says that accessibility isn't about removing features, it's about making them available for everybody in a way that works for them. And she uses a nice analogy about cooking and seasoning. Not everybody has the same flavor. You could like things that are more sweet or more salty. It can change from person to person, and it's the same thing that is happening with animations. Some people like a lot of animations, some people don't like animations at all. Weird people, by the way. No, I'm kidding. And that's why there's a setting in your system that is enables you to reduce the motion. Whilst there's only a reduced motion option and not a turn off option, that's where it gets a little bit difficult to understand, in my opinion, because if you can have no preference, so then the web builder decides what kind of animations you see, and then you have the option to have reduced motion. But reduced motion can also mean that you want still a little bit of animations happening. So I would love to see in the future that in some form or way you can also enable no motion, because if you're getting motion sickness or whatever, then any kind of motion is not good. This is the CSS that we can use in our example as well to reduce the motion and then set some type of animations happening. Here you can see that you add a media query, which then looks into the prefers reduced motion, and then it says reduce. Hey Dave, how are you doing? Nice of you to join our accessibility expert. I'm also very curious how you would approach this, because I am just basing my expertise, I don't have anything, if it is about accessibility, around the article that Annemiek has made. You also have a JavaScript implementation. So if you're using the CSS Web API, it is impossible to have no motion. Scrolling up and down the page is also motion. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or it should be stuttery. But then the question becomes, only cloud sex still, yeah, that's true. But then the question becomes, Dave, what is accepted motion and what is not accepted motion? I'm very curious about that one. It's, by the way, very hot. I'm in the attic, so I will open a small window. But anyway, if you want to use the web animations API, which is a JavaScript version of what we are creating right now, let me move this way a little bit. You see that this is the way you can fetch it. So you can have a you look in the window and then match media and then prefers reduced motion, and that's the way you can add a listener. You only have to do it once, so it can be a consistent. And then for all the animations, you can turn off the animations. I would do this on a class, on a body. I like to do that to state if animations is something that people would love. And then you have visual indicators, alternative feedback methods, state changes. And here's how you can test it if you want to do it in the operating system. But you can also enable and disable reduced motion in the developer tools. And you have many ways of device testing. Common pitfalls. Don't rely solely on animation to convey important information. Yeah. A game that I love to play, or played a while back, it's called League of Legends. And for League of Legends, you have the option to see their amazing storytelling animation. But if you dislike that, or you get motion sickness or whatever, you can also disable them. So you can pick and choose. Do you want animations enabled or do you want them disabled? And that's something that I've found very useful, and was thinking of doing something similar, but then using JavaScript and a body class. So let's see if we can do something like that. It's your birthday, Dave. Well, congratulations. I didn't know that. I guess I haven't opened Facebook too much today. The idea is to reduce unexpected motions. So you try to change a scroll animation into a fade animation. I see. But if we look at an example from GitHub, right here, this is not a scroll animation. This is an animation that's happening, but it goes from, it appears from the button. And we also have a video going on, so that's also accepted. Animation, you need to have a pause button for your videos, by the way, if something is happening, so that people can turn it off and on again. Here we can switch, so those are tabs. And here also some animations are happening. I am assuming that by default, without setting up reduced motion, GitHub does a well enough job for it. But yeah. Let's see if we can open up our DevTools and see where we can find how to enable and disable it. Where? Animations, pause. And do we need to refresh? I guess that doesn't work because here we still have some animations happening. Do we have settings? Can we quickly find a setting for reduced motion? Auto appearance. It would be nice if there's something that we can easily explore how this works and if this works well. All right, no matter. It's a setting you can find somewhere at least. Let's see. Go to OS settings, but I want to do it in my browser. Vivaldi set motion. You can disable and swiping motions, particularly to users this. Vivaldi settings, reduce motion animation, choose to load new content. Yeah, all right. Disable, where can you find it? This can be done in Vivaldi social settings. Social settings? Can't that be done in the default permissions? All right, let's see. Motion settings, animation effects, and then we can get that one, and then we can disable animation effects. I guess that's similar, right? And if we now hit refresh, you see, the animation is not happening. Nice. And if we enable it again, so it's this toggle, we refresh, there we have the animations. So they will make sure, it's funny that the video is still running, by the way, but they will make sure the animations that has been added by on the page itself, it's now steady, right? It's not doing anything, like the head was moving, but still the accents are there. They are looking great. I think they look pretty, but the animations now has been disabled. And just like here, I expect animations to happen, but now it just pops open where you press them, and some animations will be here. So it's good to see how this is built and still looks beautiful. And now we see all the animations happening again. So also this one, yeah, you see a little bit of animations and effects. And that's what I mean by progressively adding stuff in, right? You can just start with the basics, and then when you want to animate things, you need to add them step by step, taking into account people who don't like any animations. So you have to take more time in designing beautiful things if you want to rely on animations. Let's go back here, right there. And then we have the CSS animation, because now let's try and do these kind of things and add reduced motion. And all the animation should happen in there. Can we get away with some easy animations? All the transition and animation needs to be set to none. Alternative feedback if needed, like an outline. Let's see. So first off, let's copy in our CodePen. I copied the thing that I made last week in CodePen, because then I can just fire up a new environment without any issue, and using Edge to see how we can create the animation again. So we'll add a page test. We add it with Edge. We leave the page. We add in a section, and then we replace the HTML. Then we go back, replace the CSS, or add the CSS. Let's see, we need this one. Multi-top level declared. Yeah, that's true. Are you not happy about it? That's too bad. It's a shame that we can't add everything in one go. I guess we need to do it progressively. So not to upset it too much. Let's see. How can we do this? Can't we just paste in the code? No, I guess we have to add the section, and everything within the section we can copy and paste that. I thought it would be a little bit easier, but it's fine. So we can go in here. There we go. Look at that. How wonderful. Go away, you tab. And we can add a new one. And then go here. Then add the second section. And then add the HTML right here. There we go. I see that we have some things set from, it was from the previous time. That's weird. So that means that we have our, I thought I removed this one. Let's see. Sorry, something is not very nice in my throat. Auto draft. What? Does that mean that I worked on my blueprint for next year? That's too bad. Then I need to remove them all at a point. All right, no matter. Let's continue. Let's go to this one, add another section and put in our last code. Oh, it's really driving me nuts, my throat. And I will put in some nice music. If you don't like it, then it's too bad, because I like it. Put on a little bit volume. That feels a little bit cozy for me as well. Let's go back into Edge and then go back in here. And there we go. We have our settings. Let's see. And I see that it really doesn't like how we did that or something. Heading, and this one has the hero title. But we removed that one last time. And we added everything in split words, if I remember correctly. So we can copy the split words. CSS. It doesn't do an easy way of copy and pasting, so we need to copy everything that's inside of there and then pasting it right here. Then for our sections, yes, and then we add a class to it, and dots. Oop. Typing is so difficult. Look at that. That's one. Go away. Section for this one as well. Dot section. And now we have what we had the last time. We only need to open a CSS for a global CSS for the animations to happen. And that's something that we can find in here. With the key up here. Let's close those two. And field name check. There are some settings that need to be fixed before saving. All right. Which settings needs to be fixed? Field. Everything is failing. Oh no. That's what you get when you're using not ready tools. All right, just reload. Just go with it. Sometimes it happens. Let's say first. Does it work? Yes, it likes it this time around. All right, then we can close that one because we don't need it anymore. Let's add another section, put in our HTML again. I'm not sure if the music is supposed to play in the stream, but it seems like we hear it coming out of your speakers through the mic. All right, if I mute my music via my speakers, do you still hear the music or don't you? Because if I'm quiet, do you still hear the music? Because that's intentional. Let me know. Hello, little brother. How are you doing? So we have the whole gang around here. Let's go there. Yeah, the music is already on. Yeah, now we have it. All right. I guess it is still picking up from a mic. Probably getting too old. Getting too old for the shit. Let's see. Let's try again to copy and paste everything in. So we have our container. I just want to replace everything. It's such a shame that we can't do that because then it doesn't like it. But we can do section by section. Ah, we can do section by section. So, damn it. So that's a section. And then we add another one. And that's for this one. Let's select all. And then the last one. There we go. I don't know if this would be quicker than just type making it again, but it's what it is. Look at that, and our animation is already happening. Let's add another section, select the section, and put in the last bit. There we go. And then we have to remove this. Hit save. And now it's saved. Woohoo! Then we only need to do one thing, and that's adding our JavaScript that we have right here for the split text animation to happen on split words. And on text split words. And then if we hit save. Now I guess doing a little bit of refresh would help. I was saying we missed you tonight. Everything's good, not complaining really. Nice. Let's see. The animation's not happening. So what happens? Our split words is not having our CSS. So we can add the CSS again. That's no worries, no hurries. There we go. And then we hit save. And now our animation is happening. So if you don't want it to happen, can we insert the media right here? Or do we need to do that somewhere else? What we can do, because we want to manage this globally, is just do it inside here. Add media. Reduced. What was it? What was it again? Reduced motion. And then we have prefers reduced motion. Then we just copy and paste this one. I'm curious what will happen to our reduce motion. We can just do this, right? Like star plus star. An all function. I don't know what this does actually. And then add this one, and then animation to none. Expected selector. This is a selector, right? Or can we write it like this? Animation none and transition of none. I think this is the most easiest way to disable any animation happening, because what we are saying here We can also do that just by doing this, right? Just simple star. What we are actually doing is looking into the media settings, and if you have the setting turned on where you want to reduce motion, then for every element, disable the animation and transition. So if you look right now, it is enabled, it is working, and now it is reduced, but I guess the browser needs to be aware of that as well. So we need to refresh, perhaps. Working on new things. Ooh. I'm curious what you're working on. It still does the animation though. So I guess what we wrote didn't add up, and that's because we have separated everything instead of doing everything at once. So can we also set a play mode? Perhaps that's also an easy way of doing that. Animation pause. If I remember correctly, you have a way of pausing your animations. Yeah, if you don't mind sharing. Yeah, for sure. Animation play state. So paused means that it is paused and not doing anything, and else it's running. So let's see. Oh, I don't know what happens, but now it suddenly doesn't do anything. Let's see if we refresh. It is starting blurred. It's still doing the animation. I guess paused doesn't work because then it it stays blurred. What I can also see happening is that we can just put the keyframes right here. I was hoping that this lazy option would help us out, but apparently not. If we set animation name to none. Let's see. Let's just try things out and see what happens, right? What minimal effort can we do? That it will also work for the people who have reduced motion effects. And I have it turned off, so. Animation is still happening. Let's see. I guess we can't do it the lazy way. We need to just add the... wait, now it's doing the animation, but... then it will be the other way around, right? Instead of reduced, it is then no preference, if I remember correctly. So... only animation can happen when it has no preference. Ooh, there will be some announcement soon. But the others say I can speak about is that I am working on making some partnership with a business to try go further with the project about weddings that I have since a while. Oh, congratulations. Ooh, that's awesome. Very curious what you will be doing, Jimmy. And it's nice that you have found a business to partner up with. Let's see. Now it looks like that everything's gone. Everything is gone. What? What happened here? All right, let's refresh. Suddenly my heading is gone. There it is again. Hello. And look at that. It's not doing the animations thing. Because I am assuming that's the reason because we don't have it enabled right now. Keeping my fingers crossed. Awesome. Sounds like you got a sound opportunity going on. Very nice. Yeah, for me as well, Jimmy. I'm fingers crossed that everything works out for you, because it will be very nice if you have something to go with, right? To do some other, do a partnership with a business. That's always a good opportunity if you can do partnerships. Let's remove that one. Hit save. Let's see. Ooh, it doesn't like it. We have a 404 happening. Page not found. Let's go back to the editor and let's hit publish. And then we go back to Edge. Yep. And then we have everything. Open it up. And let's see. Yep, no animation happening. And if we enable this right now, and then, oh, you don't even need to refresh the page. It works instantly. Look at that. Blurry, not blurry. Blurry, not blurry. This is like a little fidget toy. That's awesome. So that's the easiest way of enabling and disabling them, by adding the reduced motion inside of here. So make sure that your page is looking nice when it's disabled. I can imagine if you start off with the end text, because it's still doing the split text as well. And maybe that's something we don't need where we don't have animations enabled. So that's something that we can look into as well. But for the end text, if we start with a filter blur right here, blur of 20 pixels, oh, 20. Yeah, you see, so this is also important to keep in mind, that you don't start off your starting point inside of your normal CSS. Do that in your keyframes, because then you can enable and disable them. It would be nice that your keyframes will always have, is looking at the reduced motion, but that could be just me. So that's also a very nice thing to understand and know. Because we had it disabled and we added a blur effect, and then it doesn't appear. So that makes sure that people cannot read it when they have the reduced animations enabled. That's good to know. Something else that I wanted to try out, because usually when we scroll up and down, yeah, that looks nice. And when we enable it, we have it enabled again. Nice. And perhaps we can also do this a little bit with JavaScript, that we can set let me get on movlet.au. Oh, damn. What is the page? Reduce. Oh, here's the the page, by the way, where she shows the GitHub page, sign up page. There's proof that you can make beautiful looking websites with animations, but also enable things for less animations. Then we scroll all the way down, and then we have the We're looking at it. Functions motion preferred is the event. So what's actually happening right here, right? Do we need to do this? Hello, Annemieke. Well, I'm just looking into this, your article about animations. And we tested it with using the previous animations and adding something. So I have one about, yeah, I know. But we're taking a look in the animation, CSS animations right now. I'm very curious how that works and how we can do that kind of things. But lovely that you're joining. And I want to understand what's actually happening right here, because we have a function, but yeah, we are just using it in style right now. So what we can do is also do something like this, right? And then add right here. And then we can do this functionality that split our words, which isn't necessary. If this is set to reduced, then we do this kind of functionality that we need for animations, but don't need for people that don't have animations. So no preference. Nice. It's nice that you're writing in Dutch, Jimmy. I was thinking about you. We're thinking. What are you thinking about? But this if statement now makes sure that if the reduce motion is set to no preference, then it will split the words, and that's not always the case, right? We don't want it to fire up every time. That does mean, I guess, that we have a little bit of implication. Let's see, right? So now it is disabled, and it still did the split words. So it didn't work this time around, or didn't we hit save? That's something that I could do as well. Let's hit save. Very small. I can see what you're coding. It's fine. I can try to zoom in, but I have a horrible feeling in my voice, my throat. Don't know why. Let's see if this even returns true, because that doesn't right now, right? So it shouldn't split. Let's remove that one. Let's take a look in this one, and then inspect. There's everything, and still everything is caught. Pasting. Allow pasting. I think this is a very good warning to make people aware that you can get information also from your console log, actually. So let's do it like this. Match is false. So it's not true. We don't have this animations. We have... So it shouldn't run the code. Because here we say if window.matchMedia and then prefers reduce motion is active. Let's see how you can... But did it look... Let's see what's in this object, right? Or functionality. Oh, damn. Can we just copy it in? Let's see and see what happens, right? Match media, native code. Yeah, it's just a function. It's false, but do we have reduce right now? That's matching true. So why isn't the code running right now? The code is running, and why is it running? Because I don't want to. I don't want it to split up our text. Because why use computing power where you don't need to? Let's ask our friendly friend ChatGPT, right? Or Gemini. I have Gemini. This code. This if statement looks like it doesn't work. It should disable the split words functionality. It's able to split word functionality. In fact, it will enable it. Yeah, when there's no preference, right? Returns from media query list objects. The object has matches property which would indicate whether the media query currently matches it. Your if statement is checking media query list object itself, not its matches. Ah. But in JavaScript, even an empty one is considered truthful in a Boolean context. Ah, so it's always true, regardless of user's preference and reduced motion. To disable the functionality when the reduced motion is active, meaning the user does prefer, you need to check the opposite conditions. Yeah, it's not matched. Ah, you need to add dot matches. If no preference matches, then reduced motion is not preferred. As we can see right here, ChatGPT doesn't know all the answers. Because here it says that if you have no preference, then reduced motion is not preferred. But it's not the case. Because it is when you add in reduce, then it does that. It sucks at coding, yeah, but I guess I can add this one for a true or false statement. Because now we're just replying with an object, which means that it is true. It looks like this is something is happening right here. So we'll refresh it. I'm assuming that dot matches checks if this is true or not. It's inside the object, right? It's something that we can check actually. False. Yep. As we can see, we now get a media query list. Ah, that's what ChatGPT says. I'm not completely sure if it is sucking completely. It did explain how it works, but it didn't explain it well enough. So it wasn't 100% true. But here we have an object list and we see that there's an object as well. And it matches with true for reduce. So if we go back in here, no preference means it doesn't match, which means it shouldn't be doing the split text right now. And there we go, it doesn't split text. And if we go back, turn it on, you will see that the JavaScript will not be running. And this has to do with it is not listening to the event happening, but it is just looking once when the browser is running, and then you can enable or disable it, which I think is the best way of doing this. And as we can see right here, when we enable it, we have our split text, and then we can add our animation as well. So this is the preferred way, if you ask me, to do that, using JavaScript to enable certain things. Then just look for this functionality, to see if something is working or not. if the code is needed. Because if the code is needed, I mean, I don't need split text if I'm just showing the text. If I'm not doing any animations, which is just happening with here, the split words animation, then you can just as well disable every JavaScript that is related to that one. Woohoo, party! So I like the solution, and we'll update the code pen as well, so that you guys can have access to that. Let's see. So we have a nice progressively enhanced animation happening. Let's see. Blur sharpen. So we can add this one right here. And then for our keyframes, we need to put that one in here, the global CSS. Let's see, where's this is the code pen. So this will check, so you need to wrap your animations and things that happen for the animation in something that checks the media animation. So if we hit save, and then it should run here as well. And when we change this setting, and here it works instantly, at least for the animation, but it still did create AN tags. So if we turn it off and refresh, scroll down, and now the JavaScript isn't running. Awesome. This is what I wanted to test out today, to see if we can progressively enhance the things or remove things that is not needed. It would also be nice that we can remove this functionality right here, because the same that goes with the JavaScript that isn't needed. Can we also remove the CSS that isn't needed? I don't think it makes sense for CSS, because it's running anyways. It's just doing the checks. It's not showing the CSS that is used, but it has downloaded and printed the CSS happening, the classes as well. So perhaps you can do a separate animation.css and put all your animations that are happening in there, just to do a check inside it to add the CSS when you have a match with no preference. It's just like the old days, I guess. Yes, a bit fancy, right? It's nice that we can do it like this and have it up and running. Actually, what is your opinion about Edge? I think Edge is a wonderful tool. Now, to be fair as well, I don't always agree with how Kevin Geary does things and say things. For me personally, he sometimes comes over a bit aggressive with things that he's selling, but could be that he's very passionate about it, or that he really wants people to do the right thing because he's frustrated about it. But sometimes it feels like very harsh words that he uses, which I don't know if is necessary. But with that being told, I really love Edge. I really love that you have the control to put in your code as well directly in WordPress, and to make it easier to set up your structure, you can just scroll down a little bit and then add your structure in here. You can click around to add your structure. You can make changes for the styles. Also, adding styles is easier instead of needing to go to a specific place, pressing there, then typing in class like we see and do right here. We can just press Ctrl Enter, then add a class like hello world. And then you have your classes added, and then you can make changes right here if you'd like to, because this is what gets me exciting. And to be fair, you can get the color to red and then it reflects here. And if we want to change something like the background to blue, we can change the background to blue right here, and it should be reflected right here, but I guess you need to type it like this, and as you can see, it is reflected right there. So you can do multiple ways, have a hybrid way of working with HTML, CSS, JavaScript and everything, and it feels like Copilot, and it's just amazing because you can immediately use it for your WordPress website instead of needing to download a theme, doing the coding, doing everything that you need to do in the code to make the theme work, then upload it, debug it, or use local WP or something to test the theme out. This does a lot of things, and that's why I love it. But like I said, I don't always agree on how Kevin Geary sells it, but it's just me, I guess. So I hope that answers your question. That's a very good thing to know. That we need to add spans if we want to do animations, but you have a nice way of saying that the Mac voiceover will go berserk on that one. I haven't thought about that. It's something that we can figure out perhaps next week, because we have 10 minutes left. Then I really want to end the stream. I'm a bit tired. So 100% agree with you. Nice. And that's what it's the animation, right? Yeah, how do we do that then? Do we need to add an area label here as well to say, all right, for the split words that we have, we need to know what's in the text. So we need to do a area label or add a title or something. I don't know. But you do have a great point, and that's why I love doing these kind of things. I don't know everything, and I love learning about it. But yeah, also I have a little bit of a designer heart, of course, and want to make things look beautiful. But it also needs to be accessible to everybody who is visiting your website. So yeah, you have all these kinds of things that you need to take care of and then need to keep in mind. And do we then do area label height or something like that? I don't know. I really don't know. If you can create an article about it, Annemieke, then we'll give it a try next week. Also a question about Marcello from Marcello Alglen. I hope you're Angelum. I don't know. Sorry. What do you think about Edge versus Clutch versus Web Studio? Well, it's very easy. If you want to stay in WordPress space and you want everything in a monolithic setup, meaning that your front end and your back end is all together, matched together, then Edge is a no-brainer. It is still in the starting phase, so not much tools will integrate with it. So you need to do and make changes manually. And then also... so that's why I think Bricks right now is better, but I can see Edge being used more and more as well. Because if you're going... How I see it is that you have Elementor for beginners, Elementor, and then you get Bricks Builder for someone who wants to dive a little bit deeper inside of the coding, but not that much. And then you have Edge, which is very coded... allows you to add the code and do those things. So that's how I think about Edge. So if you want to... so you have the 3 page builders catering to different audiences. So for me personally, I think Edge is the best if you want to use everything within the WordPress website. Then this is the best option. However, you are still dependent on what happens in WordPress. As we saw last year and the year before that, I don't know, I don't remember exactly, there was issues with WP Engine. And that made me think, is staying in the WordPress space a very smart thing to do or not? And that's why I think something like Web Studio or Clutch is a better choice and better option if you don't want to be dependent on WordPress. But the caveat is that you get dependent from Clutch and from Web Studio. So that's something to consider, right? You can set up different kind of CMS systems like Joomla and Drupal, and then connect it to Web Studio. So that's, or Clutch, and that should be easy. But then you get the other things. However, if you're talking about headless, I really love Clutch, that you can use the React code to make those things. You can have access to a plural of options as well, which, if you are a React coder, can be something that you would love to implement and use, rather than using something like Web Studio, which is in browser. The only thing missing is that when you create pages in Clutch, it's now not directly converted to React code. So there's still something where you have access to with Edge, and you don't have access to the code in Clutch, not for everything, only the things that you have coded yourself, and not what's being built by the page builder, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, that's the case. And that's something that is the downside of Clutch, if you ask me. That's something that I love them to do. And Web Studio is great because it's all in the browser. So you have access to everything in the browser, which is then an amazing option. So to answer your question, what do you think about Edge, Clutch, and Web Studio if you compare them to each other? I think Edge is the best solution if you want to stay within the WordPress space. Clutch is the best solution if you also like to hand over your code to a React developer. Hopefully in the future you can transform your Clutch pages to React pages. That would be nice. And if you like to stay in the browser, because Clutch is a desktop application, then Web Studio is the best option if you don't want to rely on WordPress. So they all have just a slightly different way of doing things, but they're still amazing in the things they're doing. I think Web Studio is similar to Webflow and Bricks Builder, and have some nice tuning in there. So if you're looking for a Bricks Builder alternative outside of WordPress and don't like Webflow, then Web Studio is the best option, if you ask me. I hope that answered your question. Edge is insane, and just sometimes his tone of voice can be different. Yep, for sure. Next week, we do animate. Please share your link on this page with me. Yeah, for sure. I will. It is in the description down below as well. I will put it in the chat. I still use Elementor on my e-commerce, but want to learn more advanced tool. If you really want to learn more advanced tool, don't learn the tool. Learn HTML and CSS and JavaScript using any kind of course you can find online, because a lot of courses are free. What's called Geek for Geeks. Geek on Heels. Geek for Geeks. Geeks for Geeks learns you a lot about all the web development things that you can just explore and see for free. And the one that is very sentimental for me is W3C, W3 Schools. And that one, that's how I learned how to write HTML when the first version of HTML came out. So they are also available for a long time. And as you can see, you can learn a lot of things. Start out with HTML, understanding how the structure works. Then secondly, go into CSS, understanding how to do these kinds of things to make it look a little bit prettier. And then dive into JavaScript. Coincidentally, today I watched a video from Theo, let's see, the3.gg, well known in the YouTube space for his amazing things that he does. And this video was really awesome to see the progress and the enhancements each functionality does. He goes over by showing it was inspired by just a page. This is a motherfucking website. All right, I get me demonetized for this video, maybe, perhaps. And he shows that you can just build a website with just using HTML. Start with that. Start understanding how HTML works and how the default things works. Then next up, start to understand how CSS works. And he shows that in this video quite well. What CSS can help you to do to make a better website with just a little bit, just 7 lines of CSS. You will get from this text that's basically unreadable to this, which has a nice lengthy fresh hair. You can read it better and everything is made better. So go that route. If you want to learn an advanced tool, don't learn an advanced tool, learn how the web works. That's really what I think is very important. Like the freedom of Atlas seems to bring to the table. Yeah, I can see that as well. But then you're dependent on any other tool. Also take that in mind, right? Because if Clutch decides, all right, we're done, we don't want to do this, we're selling the company, and someone takes over, then you're still dependent on Clutch. So either way, you could lose, right? So instead of headless is nice, but no, if you're relying on a page builder like Web Studio, like Clutch, you're also reliant on those tools. So you can perhaps better use how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because that allows you to also go to other pathways. For instance, using React or Vue.js or whatever in the future. It's a little bit more difficult, but it helps you understand how the basics at least work. Edge will build first for WP and maybe for, yeah, that would be nice. Headless is great, but never worked with Headless. There's a very great podcast about Headless by Remkes. All right, we need to find that. I will look for it. You're welcome. I hope I helped you with my rambling. Mind blown. It feels awesome to tell things you're in the clutches. Yeah, learn how the web works. That's it. It's being very clutch, I guess. All right, stop it. Else we be there. Learning HTML CSS as needs to make better products. Yeah, if you're coming from Elementor, you know how to use a tool. But really, if you want to understand how to evolve from that, because you do know the basics of it, but you don't know the whole scope of everything that's available. And yeah, just trying to program is the best way to enhance your skills, to know the basics of how the things should work, because Elementor doesn't always do the best thing, but it helps you create websites a little bit easier, if you ask me. So yeah, new landing pages, that's nice. I'm going to dip. Yeah, I'm going to go as well. I thank you all for being here. Annemieke and Jimmy and CloudSec, of course, and Bogdan, if you're still here. And Marcello, thank you for, or Marcello, or Marcello. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but thank you for your question. Made me think on creating a video about that one, because I think it's something that more Elementor users are wondering, right? How can we go further than this? Should we use another tool? But it's not the best solution, if you ask me. And yeah, thank you all. Thank you all for being so active. It was nice. It was nice to see. And thank you for making me understand how I could do things better. Because I love to learn and I love to do and understand how to do things better. And we created something that is progressively updating, right? Not really, actually, because if we really want to do this, then this needs to go in the preference as well. But if we just add our keyframes in there, then it's not running, and we remove everything that's not needed. Still breaking my head with pseudo elements to make some great effects. If you need help, send me a message on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, Facebook is the best one, because I'm most of Facebook, X sometimes. I'm Dutch, so I'm not everywhere on the internet. So if you would love some help or have questions, please reach out. Love to help and see if I can explain it in a video for you. Or maybe Kevin Paul has something. Right. I'm really going to go right now. Thank you all for watching, and if you want to see how I made these animations the previous time in exploration, then you can watch the video right here. And as always, keep designing. Where's the